Hello, my friends. Jill Ortiz here, and today I want to do a special chat with you about 5 tips to avoid holiday food anxiety. I know as we get closer to the holidays, this is a big deal, and I know many of you who are on a fitness journey, you're looking for weight loss, you're looking to feel your best and create new habits around fitness and nutrition. Maybe you've been seeing the scale go down in some of my programs, and you want to make sure that you don't self-sabotage in this time of year that you often have in the past seen weight gain. This is really important that we gain control over our anxiety and habits around holiday food. And so I've written down 5 tips for you, and I'm going to go over them with you now. So my first tip in order to avoid holiday food anxiety is to start thinking about healthifying your recipes. So let's start with Thanksgiving recipes, right? So what I've done in the past several years in efforts to have more success at my Thanksgiving meal is to show up with healthier versions, new twists on favorite old recipes. Now you might be like, no way, you're not making, my mashed potatoes and my stuffing healthier. I just want to eat it full fat, all the stuff, all the carbs this one time a year. But if you're thinking that way, then I don't think you are thinking on the path of this journey and what your goals are. And we'll go over that later. But I think what you can do, like for instance, if somebody at your Thanksgiving meal would be offended if you did not have all of the old favorites the way they've always been made, you can still have them there. But for you, I would definitely make some healthier alternatives. So things that I think about, rather than the green bean casserole full of the creamy soup, I think it's made with creamy mushroom soup. I've never actually made it before. The frizzled onions and stuff. How about we also just bring some steamed or sauteed greens to the table as well. So those who want the old kind can still have them, but you bring your new kind. Another one is the sweet potato casserole, full of butter, sugar, full of excess, the marshmallows. We know that sweet potatoes are already super sweet. If you want to just roast them instead, I love to just mix them up with a little bit of olive oil, throw some cinnamon, and really they don't need excess sweetness, but to roast them, that will bring out the natural sweetness. Another favorite of mine let's talk about also mashed potatoes. We don't even bother with mashed potatoes anymore. Nobody really needs them. They don't add much, but I know it's my sister's favorite, but she's not going to be here this year. But a cauliflower mash, or even kind of doing half and half, introducing cauliflower with the potatoes just to cut back on the carbs. My favorite thing that I've been doing for several years now is making kind of a greens-based stuffing. So that is one of my new favorites, is just shaving up maybe some Brussels sprouts, some green cabbage, throwing it in a pan with a little drizzle of olive oil, sauteing that up, throwing even some bacon bits in there, some craisins for fun. You could even throw a little bit of nuts in there, maybe some crushed walnuts or almonds, slivered almonds in there. And then at the very end, so you've got this full big pan full of the greens, the cabbage and the Brussels sprouts are the main featured, item in there. And then just topping that off with the breadcrumbs to kind of get that little bit of breadiness to it. Use some fun seasonings. You can even add the little bit of chicken broth in there to bring those breadcrumbs to life. But it's just a new twist, and it's not just a bunch of bread and butter and whatnot in a stuffing. So I would say step 1 is to have the healthy recipes and use those. If you don't have it, you can ask me for my healthy holiday Thanksgiving recipe guide, and you can probably search my YouTube for Thanksgiving stuff. So I usually do my demos when I'm starting to get close to that time. Okay, so number 2, I wrote that planning is not half the battle. Planning is the whole battle. So for me, that means that you are going to plan what you're going to enjoy and what you're going to pass on. Like I said, for me, mashed potatoes don't do much. That's going to be a full pass, right? If I feel like I'm going to indulge in dessert, then I might choose not to indulge in wine that day. you have to make your choices, because it's when you choose all of the things, that's when you might run into trouble. Maybe I do choose the stuffing and I choose a couple bites of it and I pass on a huge heaping serving, but I do, and maybe I switch out the gravy for just this one day and introduce the cranberry sauce, sugar for the fat, right? What can you deal without? And what are the things you truly want to enjoy? And make your plan your choices. If we go in without a plan, we tend to just have everything and maybe too much of everything. What is your plan for how many plates of food do you need? Really, we only all need one plate of food, right? We don't go eating 5 plates of food on any normal given day. So we can have the foods that we enjoy, but what if we just plan to squeeze them all on one plate and stick to that plan, okay? I swear it's going to take away a lot of the anxiety that you have going into this meal if you're worried about gaining weight that you've been losing. My third tip is knowing your overall goals, right? Is your goal to just flat out splurge on everything, give up everything you care about, and just take the day off from your goals? Or do you really, is your goal to develop healthier habits for the long run, to develop a healthier relationship with food, where when you are in these situations at any time, whether it's the holidays or a special occasion, that you have that self-control, that you've learned how to manage your choices and have a healthier relationship with food, where you can taste foods that you love without binging on the foods that you love, without overdoing it. Being able to, what I call, go to 80% full instead of 100 plus, right? Really focusing on what your overall goals are, and if your choices that you make are in line with those goals. And if they aren't in line, being okay with seeing the change and what's going to come from it. But we're looking to reduce that anxiety, because I know if you do whatever you want, you see that scale fly up, and you know it's going to take such a long time to get it back down, that it may not be worth it to you. So you need to evaluate, is it worth it to you, and what are your true goals? My fourth tip is to feed yourself emotionally. So a lot of times when we come into these situations, maybe it's a person that we don't want to see at that holiday meal, maybe it's general things that have happened around the holidays, missing people who aren't there, changes in life, we tend to be very emotional around the holidays, and we can either feed ourselves emotionally in terms of self-care, de-stressing, being at peace, or we can deal with our emotions by feeding ourselves food. And you're going to absolutely feel less anxiety if you're not feeding with food, but helping yourself to be at peace, to find stress release. So that means taking care of yourself in a way that you find helpful. It could mean workouts. It could mean feeding your body properly. It could mean taking walks or finding time to do yoga or meditation, to maybe journal about what's going on around this time of year, but really taking that time, maybe it's going to therapy, taking that time to be more at peace with your life, where you're at, with whoever's going to be there at that holiday. Because what tends to happen, I know that this used to be me, that when I was uncomfortable at an event or a family gathering because of somebody who might have been there, then I tend to go to the food table, to occupy myself, to constantly be drinking or eating so that I don't have to talk. And that was not emotionally healthy for me. And it led to a lot of excess eating and drinking, right? And so we need to figure out too if there's unresolved issues that maybe we need to deal with going into this season, okay? And my fifth tip is to keep doing the things that you know help you. So if you have gotten on a healthy kick of working out, then don't stop working out. Don't wake up on Thanksgiving Day and say, oh, I've got a lot to do on my list, so I'll skip my workout today. Do the workout on Thanksgiving, and maybe join me for my post-Thanksgiving workout on Black Friday. Hydrate yourself. I know we get busy. We're watching parades, we're cooking, we're setting the table up, we're getting in touch with people, and And it's important that you stay hydrated, right? We're not drinking wine. It's not deglaze the pan, deglaze the chef. It is drinking your water throughout the day, staying hydrated. And the other thing that you know is important is that we eat regularly. The thing that is one of my biggest pet peeves is hearing somebody say, I'm not eating today because we have a big meal tonight. What that does is it sets you up for that binging at night. So what we want to do is we want to continue to eat our regular meals the way we eat normally as a normal human being throughout the day, even though you have an event at night. And this goes for any time. If you have a wedding to go to, don't starve yourself all day in anticipation that there's going to be amazing food and that you're going to want to binge on calories all night so you don't eat during the day. The best thing you can do is stay on your normal schedule so your blood sugar doesn't drop. Sometimes we go crazy when we get hangry, when we're really hungry, start eating things that we shouldn't otherwise or wouldn't otherwise. And so keeping your normal habits, your normal healthy habits is going to absolutely help you on these holidays from the anxiety, from the binging. I think awareness is always really good. The fact that you have made yourself aware of these things, right? So let's go through again. So we've got healthifying recipes. Start thinking, what can I maybe introduce? And you don't have to take away from the table. You can add new dishes. Planning, being a planner. What am I planning to pass on and what am I planning to enjoy? Knowing your overall goals. Can I taste without binging? What is important to me? Is it letting go of everything and maybe feeling awful tomorrow? Is that going to be in line with who I want to be and what I want to achieve? Or is having that moderation and enjoyment going to be a better solution for you? Feeding yourself emotionally, being aware of what happens, what comes up during this season, and when you see certain people or are at certain times of the year, and doing the things that you know are the things that are going to get you to your goals and continuing to do them. Awareness of these things is so good. What happens sometimes is we have all the right intentions, and this may not be a complete success the first time you try it. So for me, I've been on this healthy journey for about 10 years now, really intentional. I think it was 10 years ago that I went into my first Thanksgiving where I looked at my plate and I was thinking about the portion sizes and my choices. And so this may not be a complete success the first time you try it, but you've got a few holidays coming up. You may have a bunch of occasions where you can at least practice some of these habits. So come back to this video, watch it, write down these tips, start making your list of action items, things that you can do, what you plan to do, and I will tell you, it will go better than it has in the past, and you'll be more cognizant of what your results are based on your actions. Let me know if this was a help, and I wish you a very happy and healthy holiday season.